Welcome back to AM Agenda. Major political parties run what are known as focus groups. They pay research companies to find out what you are thinking and feeling, and they use that to shape policies, messages and win elections. The government and opposition do it constantly. Joining us live now is the director of RedBridge Group, Simon Welsh. Simon, good to see you. What are you picking up in the groups this week?
G'day, Laura. Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of weeks. We've been obviously a fair bit of focus down here in Victoria, but not just in Victoria. And what we're seeing is, if I had to sum it up in a word, compassion has really taken the sort of the zeitgeist that we're seeing in the groups. Here in Victoria particularly, we've got a pretty bruised electorate after the last couple of years, and it's playing out not in a sort of a anger about lockdowns or anything like that. It's actually playing out in this idea that people want to see sort of compassionate, caring leadership going forward. So it's almost sort of like red line in the sand, but going forward, what we're looking for is this kind of compassion and care, people first, in our leadership and in the policies being presented by the major parties.
I find that really interesting, particularly given the Victorian election is approaching. Also, people that lived in Melbourne through lockdown seem pretty, to use your word, bruised by the whole experience. But are you saying that it's not really a factor in this election anymore?
Not in that direct sense. It's certainly, as I say, it's certainly a factor. So it's not in the direct sense. I mean, in terms of, they're not looking to prosecute the failures or the mistakes made during lockdowns. It's really about, okay, well, what happens now? And really, as I say, sort of wanting to look, to how we're looking after the people that have been impacted, the people that are trying to recover from what's happened over the last couple of years. And it's a little pivot. It's a subtle little pivot, I think, that both major parties have missed to some degree. So I'll give you, for example, when we talk to folk about health, there's actually a frustration that we're picking up that both parties here in Victoria going into this election are sort of doing a health hospital spend-a-thon. And what they're saying to us is, good to be spending money on hospitals and getting more hospitals around the place. But what we actually need is a plan for the health system, the people that work in it, the people that rely on it, not health buildings. So how does building a hospital in 10 years' time help the nurses, the doctors, that've been overstressed, overworked, underappreciated, and the people that are relying on the health system with their wait lists? How does that help them now?
Yeah, that's really interesting. So the politics of old isn't working in this new environment, if you like. And politicians often announce these big spends because it's on capital works, and that's in many ways the easier thing to do. What the harder thing to do is actually sorting out the workforce issues. But the electorate wants that.
Absolutely.
Wow.
The 2018 Labor, we're going to build big stuff narrative isn't going to cut it this time. They're looking for something deeper. They're looking for that, as I say, sort of more caring compassion reflected in how do these policies help the people in the workforce? How do they help the people that rely on these public services in a more immediate sense? Because the damage has been done over the last couple of years and we need to recover from this so we can move forward.
Love your insight, Simon. We'll check in soon.
Thanks, Laura.